well, just about everything, but specifically opportunities to go live on social media or podcasts. Hi, I'm Catherine Taylor, and I'm a podcast interviewer. I have my own show, Let's Get Writing, and the podcast that goes along with that. And this is something I enjoy and I'm passionate about. And I want it to become a passion for you. Perhaps it can. So just before I went to do this, my screen changed completely. So talk about things happening when you go live. These things do happen and you still go live. So there's a tip right there. But what can you do to say yes? Someone asks you to go on a show and you immediately tighten up. You find reasons why you don't want to do it. You go, oh, I have to walk the dog. I have to take the cat to get her toenails clipped. I'm not feeling well today. Oh, I have a hair appointment. I have this, I have that. So these kinds of things are just excuses to make you feel better about saying no, or that's my thought. And how do I know this? Of course, because I've felt that. We all have to start somewhere. I used to feel anxiety about the idea of going live. Granted, it was a long time ago, but see what happens when you embrace it and you practice. You get more confident at doing it. So here are a couple of tips that may help you so that when the opportunity to go live or the invitation to speak about something about which you know a lot and about which you're passionate comes, you're going to say yes with enthusiasm. So let me see what my tip is. Okay, number one. Identify your best speaking points. You know your topic. You generally know what people are going to ask you about. So do this in advance. Do it when there's no invitation on the table. Absolutely get there, sit down with yourself, and think about your topic. If it's a book, in my case, I interview authors. Before they come on, they could think about, well, what do I want to talk about if someone asks me for an interview? My book, my writing process, how I got started, what were my biggest challenges, what do I love most about it, what advice would I give others? These are examples of the type of points you can make and write down in advance. And the advantage of doing this is that the information gets settled in your head. It's not something new that you're trying to pull together the night before the interview. The longer you sit with something, the longer you focus on it and have it in your mind, the more confident it will roll off your tongue at the time that you have to deliver it. So this is what I say. Identify your best speaking points and do it in advance. That's one of the best ways to feel comfortable. Don't leave it to the last minute. Anticipate that someone, somewhere, sometime is going to ask you to show up. If you have a product these days, everything's going online and it's going live. So trust me, you want to promote something, you want to let someone know about you and what you're doing, this is going to come up. So identify your speaking points well in advance. Be ready. Now, the next thing you can do is, did I bring it up? My screen has gone funny. Okay, let's see. Learn by doing. All right, that's exactly it. Doing it is the way to get better. Now, do you want to learn by doing with your first interview? Probably not, because you have a lot of things on your mind and you want to perform well then. So how can you learn by doing in advance? Well, you probably have a favorite social media platform. It might be Facebook, it might be Instagram, it might be Twitter. Whatever it is, pick that platform and start small. Go and try and do a live and pick a time maybe when no one's going to be watching to get your feet wet. Could be early in the morning, could be late at night, who knows? When there's not going to be a huge audience, and when you're starting, there generally never is, but whatever in your mind makes you feel better. Because by going on, you're going to figure out what you need. You're going to say, oh, I hated my lighting. Oh, my sound was so bad. I didn't know how to end it. I didn't know what button to push. I didn't know how to start it. Oh, I didn't have the right outfit on or the right background. I had a plant growing out of my ear. All those kinds of things. If you just start doing it, you will begin to see yourself and you'll begin to get used to seeing that image and you'll begin to improve what you do, what you look like. But it only happens if you do it. It's not going to happen in your head. It's not going to happen on your first interview, a lot of things could happen if you don't try it in advance. So what I'm suggesting is learn by doing. And one of the great ways that you can do this, and I've mentioned it before, is you can join a challenge. And that's a fabulous way. There are so many challenges out there. I'm going to give you one that I think is absolutely great, and it is CherylPlouffe.com, and I'll add that in my speaking notes. But Cheryl does offer a very fun challenge where you can go for 30 days, and she gives you a lot of prompts and ideas and points. And quite often that is the challenge in itself. What am I going to talk about? I don't know what to say. So start out easy. Join a challenge where someone like Cheryl will give you a multitude of points, and you can go in and pick one for every day. And that will get you going. That will give you the confidence. You're not going to be struggling, wondering what to say. So there's a lot of benefit to teamwork. And finally, let's see, watch others and take note. Because if you see someone who is doing this and doing something that you like, take note of that. There's no harm in stealing ideas. I don't really think stealing is the right word, but the sharing of information. And people will be only too happy to talk to you about these things if you reach out to them. But by watching others, you can make pointers and again, write them down. So while you're identifying your best speaking points, while you're learning by doing, while you're joining the challenge and evaluating and get team support, you can begin to become more confident. You can begin to tweak the process. And when the time comes and someone asks you, hey, would you go on my podcast tomorrow? Hey, would you go on my live video tomorrow? You turn around and you look them in the eye if you're talking to them or if you're online with them and you go, yes, there's nothing more that I'd rather do than do that. Yes. So if that's not how you feel right now, if that's not what you would say right now, then try these points that I'm giving to you. They're easy, they're baby steps, they will work. And if you feel a little bit alone, reach out to me and I can talk to you about it. Absolutely no problem. And you can check out some of the things I'm doing. And those are available on my YouTube channel, Catherine Taylor TV. And I have a lot of shows up there and also other tips that you can watch. Have a great day and thanks for tuning in. And remember, start saying yes. And now I'm going to say goodbye.